saying he had talked to other teammates who saw the QB do it, and that he knows for a fact that McNabb went out the night before the game. So, Shannon, whose side are you on here?
Neither. And I wish both of these guys would let it go. And I've talked to T.O. Skip on numerous occasions. I'm a little closer to T.O. Than I am Donovan. But although I know Donovan, but I've never talked to Donovan about this situation. But I've talked to T.O. about this numerous times. And I just, T.O., you need to let it go. Both of them, first of all, Skip, need to let it go. This transpired so long ago, Skip. You can't go back and replay the game. Skip, they had a sensational first year together. First pass Donovan threw, 80-plus yards, 81 yards to T.O., the very number that he had on. It was great. It didn't last long. And it just goes to show you how hard it is to win championships in the NFL, Skip, or at any level when you have two guys and they bicker back and forth at each other and they become envious of each other for whatever the reason. Maybe one has more success than the other. Maybe one gets more credit than the other. Whatever the case may be. But they need to let this go. And, you know, I wish Donovan hadn't said, well, we could win without him. We won before he got here. There was a lot of things. And let me tell you something about T.O., the guy that I know. T.O. is the type of guy, I don't care who you are or what position you hold. If he feels you've wronged him, he will never, ever let it go. He'll never let it go.
Agreed.
We have a very similar background. He was raised by his grandma.
Yep.
I was raised by my grandparents.
Yep.
And so we're very similar, and upbringing and our ideology is a lot alike. But I've asked T.O. on numerous occasions, bro, just let it go. Just make peace with it. You and Donovan, it's time out for this. There's so much more important things going on than you two grown 40-plus-year-old men to be bickering about something that happened almost 20 years ago. But it seems like every time someone put a microphone or a camera in front of Donovan, he takes a shot at T.O. They ask T.O. about it. He'll take a shot at Donovan. And they both need to be the bigger and just let it go, Skip. Just let it go. It's over. It was 1 year. It was great. It didn't work out. Just move on. If you don't want, I wish you could have a conversation like, bro, there's some things I said that I probably shouldn't have said. I apologize. Yeah, you're right, bro. Then we were young. There's some things that I said I shouldn't have said. But sorry about it. Hey, be the better man and move on. But I just don't see that happening, Skip. I really don't.
I have heard from Terrell about this on many shows that he has been on with me. I've talked at length with Donovan off camera about this. I've talked to 4 or 5 of the leaders on that team about what did transpire or did not transpire. So I think I have a pretty good command of it. I do agree with you. It's time to let it go. But the wounds are so deep here that it's impossible for either to let it go. I think Terrell, after he was finally granted his Hall of Fame membership alongside your bust, that it really gave him some new peace about who he is and what he accomplished. Right. And I think he was ready to let it go. And then Donovan did an interview with Untold Stories in which he rebroached the subject. He brought it back up. Yeah. And that's when Terrell decided, you're a phony, and I'm going to fire back because I'm going to do Untold Stories. Right. I'm going to get you. and he dredged it all back up. And there's a lot of hearsay going on here about whether he did throw up in the huddle. And Terrell admits, I didn't see him. Well, if you didn't see him, are you sure about it? And he said, well, a couple of teammates said they saw him throw up. I don't know if he threw up in his mouth and spit it out. Yeah. I don't know, but I'm not sure he got down on his knees and barfed. Yeah. Not sure about that one because I think it would have been caught on camera by somebody somewhere, right? Then this whole idea that he went out drinking the night before, and then Terrell suggests that before every big game he played, he went out drinking. Well, I don't know. I think a lot of guys go out to blow off a little steam, just to have a drink. I don't have any problem with that.
Well, but Skip, maybe in the room, because Mike had Mike Shanahan, our head coach, the guy, the bars are off limits.
No, absolutely.
Because the appearance of how it's going to look if somebody were to see you in there.
I'm with you.
So I'm not saying guys didn't have, Skip, obviously they had many bars in their room. I'm not saying guys didn't have a drink in their room, but it's hard for me to believe in a situation like that. And I'm not saying that it happened or it didn't happen, that the night before the game, somebody would have saw something. That would have made the news.
Yeah, you're right about that. Okay, so let's go back to the genesis, the flashpoint of this. Remember, when Terrell first got there, coming from San Francisco to Philadelphia, during camp, they weren't just roommates, they were soulmates. They were besties, man.
Right.
They clicked and connected,
Right.
and till death do them part. And to your point, it worked right away.
Yes.
On the field.
Yes.
It worked. And then all of a sudden, Terrell got sideways with management over his contract and this and that. He's always at it with somebody. And he's at it with Brad Childress, their offensive coordinator. And Donovan did not have his back,
Right.
according to Terrell, the way Donovan had Westbrook's back
Correct.
when Brian Westbrook was in contract impasse with management, right?
Because the general rule of thumb, Skip, when someone's going through this, we don't talk on somebody else's money.
Yep.
Well, T.O. felt, well, you speaking positive about Brian Westbrook getting his money,
Yep.
but you mom when it come to me. I thought we supposed to be boys. And for whatever reason, and T.O. felt deep down inside that Donovan became envious of him because the people of Philly started T.O. And he felt that rubbed Donovan like, hold on, Robbie, I'm the quarterback. I've been here the longest. And T.O. rivaled Donovan in popularity. Now, that's what T.O. felt that some of this came from. T.O. also told me the story, and I don't know how many other people that he's told this. He said, and they were playing the Giants, and he ran a go route, and Donovan didn't see him. He didn't throw it. He said, Donovan, I had him on this go route.
Yeah, and he said,
and he shut up. And T.O. said, look, and Donovan told him that in front of everybody. And so he looked at him and he said, Sharp, it was never the same after that. So I just wish they could let it go. They're not gonna let it go. As my grandmother used to say, boy, stirring up old, ish, it still stinks. The wounds are still there.
Yep.
So while you peeling the scab off, Skip, it's never going to heal. Just talk it out, guys. I mean, come on. After everything that's done happen in 2020, that pettiness.
okay. Final point on this. This is where I am on Donovan's side. Donovan has believed and will believe to his grave that they played better without Terrell in the first two playoff games. They were at home against Dante Culpepper and the Vikings and against Michael Vick and the Atlanta Falcons.
Right.
But they won fairly convincingly. The Culpepper game was fairly, it was a 3-point game, but they beat Michael Vick. Just Jim Johnson's defense were all over.
Right.
It's 27-10, and Donovan played pretty to very well in those two home playoff games.
Right.
And then they faced Belichick and Brady in the Super Bowl in Jacksonville.
Skip, you wouldn't beat Belichick. They lost the game anyway. But if you thought you was going to play better without Skip, T.O., look, Andy's going to get the ball.
Just remember, he's coming off a broken leg, and he rushed back.
Skip, he had, if I'm not mistaken, he had a very similar injury to what Dak Prescott had.
It's the Dak, and it was the horse collar injury.
That's why they banned it.
Got it.
But Skip, I mean, 9 for $122, and it wasn't like Andy was forcing the ball. He's just like, if they're gonna single cover him with Asante Samuel, whomever, I like this matchup.
Several of the leaders told me Donovan is of this mindset. Terrell rushed back, and he just wasn't at full speed, because how can you be? It's too short a turnaround.
I can't tell.
Okay, well, that's what they thought. So, again, he was being single covered a lot, and Donovan felt like he had to force feed the ball to Terrell. He threw him 14 targets, and he caught 9 for 122. There's one 36-yarder, which is fairly impressive, but no touchdowns and no threat of touchdowns. So, to me, they're all believing, and again, this is easy 20/20 hindsight, because you're losing to a really good football team, a dynasty, okay?
Yeah.
But remember, throw up or no throw up, late in the game with 1:48 left, Donovan finally found little Greg Lewis's little speedster for 30 yards. I think we have the 30-yarder. Okay, that was a good throw.
Yeah, it was a great throw.
Maybe you had to throw up to get it out of your system. I don't know.
That was a great throw, great route.
Okay, and that cut the margin to 24-21 with 1:48 left, which forced an onside kick.
Coach Belichick with 0 blitz again.
Okay, there you go. There you go. And they did not, New England recovered the onside. My man, Christian Fourier, my friend from ESPN, he recovered it. Their tight end at the time. And they milked the clock quite a bit, and then they punted back to him, and Donovan got the ball back at his 4-yard line with I think it was 46 seconds left, and they couldn't do anything, and he ended the game with an interception to Rodney Harrison. He did throw 3 picks in the game, but now it's easy 20/20 hindsight. They're all looking back saying, well, Terrell rushed back so he could be the hero, and he couldn't do enough to justify us force-feeding him the football. That's the contention.
Yeah. I think the thing is, for me, I can just admit, look, if one of our better players is trying to come back and is going to give it, and I believe they're a better football team with T.O. on the field. And I understand, Skip, they won those 2 games. But, Skip, if you look at the regular season, Donovan was a different quarterback. Donovan has never, ever looked as good as he did that year with T.O.
I'll buy that. I agree.
Any year before, and go back and look it up.
Well, for that matter, Jeff Garcia has never looked better than he looked with Terrell Owens.
No.
It was magic, man.
Skip, you think about what the guy, everywhere the guy, you say, well, he destroyed it. But you look at him in San Francisco. You look at him in Philly. You look at him in Dallas. He goes to Buffalo. He leads them. He goes to Cincinnati. He leads. He could play.
Yep.
Skip, I get it.
I know he could play, but I called him Team Obliterator for a reason, because in the locker room, he was